Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Brajadana Randana Yasodhanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Brajadana Randana Yasodhanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Radha Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaura Primanande. Time Vishupad Paramahamsa. Pri Vratigata Jasto Tarasata Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace. Hirabai Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Skandi Biti, Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki. Samavata Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Janitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Chaksuranmiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam From Sajivam Sadvaitam Savrutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakandvitam Shyam Hai Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Ram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavisnaistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, All that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed and practically to nil, and loving devotional service sung to the Supreme Lord, whose praise with transcendental songs it becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Sridham Bhagavatam Namaha
Puranam Brahma
Puranam
Samhitam
Brahmasamhitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Uttamaśloke Charitam
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Nishreyasaya Lokasya
Shreyasaya Lokasya
Dhanyam Swastyayana Mahat.
Dhannam Swasayanam Maha.
This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita
Shri
Gadadhara,
Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara
Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om 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 Sarabhyaya
Om
Namaha.
Surabhyaya Namaha.
Om Sarabhyaya
Om
Namaha.
Surabhyaya Namaha.
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha.
Om Surabhyaya Namaha.
Mukam karoti vatalam gum langayate girim yatripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam yatripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class. We are continuing Canto number 1, chapter 6, conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva. Yesterday we read the text 31. There are 38 texts in this chapter, so we are in the last few texts here. So today is text number 32. Deva Dattam Imam Vinam Swara Brahma Vibhushitam Mursayitva Hari Katham Gayamanash Charami Aham Devadattam Imam Vinam Swara Brahma Vibhushitam Mursayitva Hari Katham Gayamanas Charamyaham Devadattam Imam Vinam Sara Brahma Vibhushitam Mursayitva Hari Katham Gayamanas Charamyaham Devadattam Devadattam imam veenam
Devadattamivam Vinam
Swara Brahma Vibhushitam
Svara Brahma Vibhushitam
Murchayatva Hari Katham
Murchayitva Harikatam
Gayamanas Charamyaham
Gayamana Charamyaham Devadattamivam Vinam
Devadattam imam veenam
Svara Brahma Vibhushitam
Swara Brahma Vibhushitam
Murchayitva Harikatam
Murchayatva Hari Katham
Gayamana Charamyaham
Gayamanas Charamyaham
Devadattam imam vinam
Devadattam imam veenam
Swara Brahma Vibhushitam
Swara Brahma Vibhushitam
Murchayitva Hari Katam
Murchayatva Hari Katham
Gayamanas Charamyaham
Gayamanas Charamyaham
Devadattam imam Vinam
Devadattam imam veenam
Shara Brahma Vibhushitam
Swara Brahma Vibhushitam
Murchayitva Harikatam
Murchayatva Hari Katham
Gayamanas Charamyaham
Gayamanas Charamyaham Deva,
Deva,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Sri Krishna,
Sri Krishna,
Dattam,
Dattam,
gifted by
gifted by
Imam,
Imam,
this,
this,
Veenam,
Vinam,
a musical stringed instrument,
musical stand,
Swara,
Swara,
singing meter,
singing,
Brahma,
Brahma,
transcendental,
transcendental,
Vibhushitam,
Vibhusitam,
decorated with
decorated with
Murchayatva,
Murchayitva,
vibrating,
vibrating,
Hari Katham,
Harikatam,
transcendental message,
transcendental message,
Gayamanaha,
Gayamanaha,
singing constantly,
singing constantly,
Charami,
Charami,
do move, do move,
do,
Aham,
Aham,
I.
I.
Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. And thus I travel constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. Kindly repeat after me. And thus I travel,
And thus I travel,
constantly singing
constantly singing
the transcendental message
this transcendental message,
of the glories of the Lord,
glories of the Lord,
vibrating this instrument
vibrating this instrument
called a veena,
called Veena,
which is charged
which is charged
with transcendental sound
with transcendental sound,
and which was given to me
and given to me
by Lord Krishna. Purport. The musical stringed instrument called the veena, which was handed to Narada by Lord Sri Krishna, is described in the Linga Purana, and this is confirmed by Srila Jiva Goswami. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Sri Krishna. And Narada, because, I see. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Krishna and Narada, because all of them are of the same transcendental category. A sound vibrated by the instrument cannot be material, and therefore the glories and pastimes which are broadcast by the instrument of Narada are also transcendental, without a tinge of material inebriety. The 7 singing meters, namely Sha, Sabdaja, Ri, Rishabha, Ga, Gandhara, Ma, Madhyama, Pa, Panchama, Dha, Daivata, and Ni, Nishada, are also transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Narada Deva is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument, and thus he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and is therefore infallible in his exalted position. Following in the footsteps of Srila Narada Muni, a self-realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meters, namely Sha, Ri, Ga, Ma, etc., in the service of the Lord by constantly singing the glories of the Lord as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Kindly repeat. No, I'll just rather, I will repeat the translation. And thus I travel, constantly singing the transcendental message of the Lord, of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called Veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. So, of course, this musical instrument uh, is especially, is very special because it was given by Lord Krishna himself. Uh, just like we have examples of demigods sometimes gifting, like Arjuna's bow, Gandiva. Demigods who are residing in the Svargaloka, heavenly planets, they have objects that are much greater in value than what we have here on this planet. What to speak of something being gifted, Krishna gifting this Veena to Narada Muni. So naturally, especially because Narada Muni, as we read in the last few days, being the transcendental spaceman that he is, so he travels, he is at liberty to travel sometimes in the spiritual world, sometimes in the material world. And so he has many subject matters to discuss or to sing about. So there's reference, of course, to the mm, the singing. That means that Narada Muni must be a very good singer. And there's there's a whole science uh, which is still taught uh, in India, especially. Uh, the sound, uh, just like in the Western world, they only know one aspect of musical sound, but in the Vedic culture, uh, sound vibration, music it takes many years to actually learn properly, um, and it's it's one of the well, it's described how the residents of Gandharva Loka, they are especially um, gifted with the ability to sing and to dance, um, and to play various musical instruments. Just like on our planet, there are some people, there are some countries where people are more uh, expert at um, playing different instruments. Uh, for example, unless one goes to Bali in Indonesia, it is part of the culture, largely because Indian uh, Vedic culture was uh, prominent for many centuries in Indonesia, and they are very expert in art, in singing. Uh, so Prabhupada makes the point here, of course, that Narada Muni, being a pure devotee of the Lord, he nicely utilizes his transcendental instrument. Prabhupada actually mentions that this Veena given to him by Lord Krishna is not different from him. And at the end of the purport, Prabhupada also mentions how those who are uh, self-realized souls should also properly use the sound meters. Actually, Srila Prabhupada was very expert. If we one person who was professional singer, after hearing Srila Prabhupada speak, and especially after hearing Srila Prabhupada sing, he remarked that actually this person is very expert uh, in sound vibration. If you listen carefully to the lectures given by Srila Prabhupada, this actually comes out. I mean, in a very um, in a very clear and very obvious way. The Prabhupada was very expert in utilizing sound vibration. He would, for example, repetition. Often Prabhupada would repeat when he would give lectures, even in the purports. Repetition is important to actually highlight or to make a point. And also Prabhupada, he he put a lot of, what is it? He put a lot of feeling in what he spoke, and in other words, it's very pleasing to the ears. I mean, it's the message that Prabhupada is giving, which is most important. You know, a highest transcendental message of Krishna consciousness. And sometimes Prabhupada makes very subtle points, but the way he delivers that message is an example of what is mentioned here. Um, Srila Prabhupada was expert in actually, capturing the attention of his audience. Uh, some of the lectures, especially, are very, um, uh, very, very powerful, and this this sound vibration. Of course, that was there in Prabhupada's speaking, and that was especially there, of course, in Prabhupada's singing also. Prabhupada's bhajans are very are very unique, and very very touching. um, so of course it's natural. Srila Prabhupada being a pure devotee of the Lord, he was a very expert actually in all things that he did. That's one of the uh, qualities of a Vaishnava. He is, uh, what is it? Daksha. He's very expert, and he is very, very pleasing to hear as well. We can learn many things actually simply um, by hearing. That's why I always, to new people and even to other, let's say, devotees, recommend that devotees hear directly. Very important. Prabhupada's lectures, because not only the content in terms of philosophy, but the expressions and the manner in which Prabhupada delivered the message of Krishna consciousness was very powerful. In the Brahma Samhita, it mentions how in the spiritual world, this is especially prominent, uh, that people who are uh, the residents of Vaikuntha, um, their speech is like a song. Every word is like a song, and every step is like a dance. So that becomes manifest as one becomes, uh, yeah, purified, purified in consciousness. I have not studied music, so I don't know so much about the science, but it's a very big science. That one, there's still people who follow, like in India, you have a, a guru for music, right? either harmonium or for singing, whatever. Actually, our Narayan Rishi was practicing such kind of chanting when he was younger. He was telling me that's why he was liking to chant.
Narayana Rishi in the Himalayas.
Hmm?
In the Himalayas.
Not that Narayan Rishi in the Himalayas. One devotee. Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Yeah. When did Narada receive this Vina? Does anyone know?
I just read that should be different version of Linga Purana because Linga Purana mentioned one story
Uh-huh.
how Narada Muni was competing with Tumburu,
He was
competing.
competing.
Yeah, he wanted to sing for the pleasure of the Lord. I don't know when,
Okay.
but it's just a general picture that he wants to sing very nicely, but he is not convincing anyone because his singing is not on a higher level. So
Okay.
he then goes to learn when yeah, he did very several austerities to become expert.
Mm.
And then I think Lord Shiva appeared to him and told that he will not successful before Lord Krishna appears in the world, in this material world.
Mm.
And then that happened. Then Narada Muni could learn from the associate of Lord Krishna, like from Rukmini and from other queens. And then he becomes so expert that Krishna told, no, you are better than Tumburu.
Better than?
Tumburu is the Gandharva. We have a
Oh,
Gandharva king who is
okay.
so-called the best singer in the world.
Right.
So, but Narada attained higher expertise in this way. That's what Linga Purana, the
That-
mentioned Linga Purana,
In the Linga Purana, it is
the
mentioned.
40 Linga Purana say, but that Linga Purana didn't mention that Krishna, when he was satisfied, he gave the Veena.
Vina.
So, but Jiva Goswami maybe knows more. So
Okay, yeah,
that maybe someone can find
right.
from Jiva Goswami.
I'm asking actually because I've not read. I don't know
Yeah.
when he received this Vina. But
So there is a story in Linga Purana when Narada reached that level that Krishna is satisfied.
Yeah.
And that could be the situation when Krishna gave him a gift because of that. It's like logical, but it's
Right,
not
right.
mentioned in the text.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least what they found and what they quoted.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I mean, music is sound. Sound is very attractive. In I think the closest sound vibration that comes to what is known in Indian culture or Vedic culture is what we call classical music. Actually, when I was a student, before becoming a devotee, I used I used to buy classical records or classical music. You know, Beethoven, and there are great personalities who very gifted, actually gifted from previous life somehow. Um, that's a whole whole science in itself.
What I heard about this music when I a little bit I stopped because I saw that it's so high. So someone have to put his life to get some level or some austerities, some very special blessings someone can get. But what I learned that there was in India musicians who could who could change the weather, who could
Change the weather.
yeah,
Okay.
and they have so power that they started to sing special ragas, and animals came to from the forest, and they stayed and they was just stuck to listen to music. I don't remember the name of that person, but it's a few hundred years ago. It's very famous.
Vrindavan.
Not
He is
Well, I mean, even now, even today,
yeah,
I'm sure you might have seen some small documentary. People put up so many things. If somebody sits somewhere, and if there are cows not too far away, and he plays
yeah,
guitar or the violin, the cows they'll start running and come.
yeah,
And one devotee sent me, one devotee from Switzerland, he sent me uh, a picture of one Mataji, Western Mataji, playing the guitar,
yeah,
and there's a cow just lying at her feet.
yeah.
And the you have to see it to actually believe it. But as she is playing and she's singing a nice song, the cow is just like in ecstasy.
Yeah, I saw some videos.
Okay, lifting up the head and touching the,
Yeah,
and then she's kissing the cow, and it's like,
very sweet. And
uh, yeah, sound is very attractive, and sound, as you mentioned, is very powerful also. And all of that actually is contained within the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
yeah,
uh, but uh, one needs to have certain uh, qualifications to actually uh, get the full benefit from the sound vibration. But yeah, sound.
there was that story which is more intense in this way that that person was a young boy and a king wanted to bring the best musicians, the best artists to this court. And he found this boy and he brought him into his court. And then there was some other musician wanted to compete with that person and challenge. He thought, okay, I'll show you. I'm happy to see. And then the competition was that we have to call a deer from the forest,
Okay, by your
and
singing.
they tried. And then this person tried to started to sing, and one deer came and he put one garland, and then the deer disappeared. And the next test was no, call the same deer, come back, and he did.
Mm.
So everyone was really satisfied that that person really master of the ragas, master of. Another day he was challenged. There was a very special raga which was very famous, but no one could sing it. And someone challenged him, "Can you sing that raga? Its raga is very powerful. It's like a forest fire."
Mm.
And he understood that the reason of the challenge, if he really changed that, sing that,
Fire.
he would be killed by this heat. But somehow he was thinking, okay, I have to accept. So he thought, yes, after 6 months I will chant. So he chose the best student of him, and he learned. He was teaching him the other raga, which is cooling down everyone. So he told, I will chant this mantra,
And
but
you
you chant that mantra to help me to save me.
cool me down. Yeah.
And that's happened. It was so dramatic that everyone was sweating. The fire came out from the walls.
Yeah.
He was really afraid of what will happen, but he was so much in trance, he couldn't stop.
Great.
And then that disciple understood what he should do, and he started to chant these cooling mantras. And then cloud came, and big rain came, and everyone settled. So these are famous stories about a few hundred years.
Yeah.
You can find on internet the name of the person, but it was
Here in India.
yeah,
In India. Yeah.
yeah, some very famous Muslim king was.
I see. Yeah.
I don't want to mention the name because I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But soon,
Well, just like Krishna's pastimes.
yeah. You know, Krishna, when he got the first flute,
Now here we go.
from next day, he started to go out to the peaceful place and try to learn. And he had to learn, and somehow, slowly, he learned by himself how to play flute. And then he figured out, oh, but this flute should be so attractive. So I have to find the ragas by which we can attract different persons. And then one day after a day, he learned how to attract the cloud, how to attract the birds, how to attract the different animals. And then they found out, oh, I can play for attract different persons. And then the gopis was watching him, and they were understanding that what will happen day after day. He is developing his skill.
Right.
And one day he will attack them. So it was after 2 months when Krishna found that raga by which he could attract gopis. And that was the day of Sharat, and then that was the first rasa dance. So that also he learned that.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, the culmination of all leelas is Rasa Leela, where there's,
I saw a video of an Indian Mataji. She was playing a flute in a goshala.
playing a flute in a goshala.
She was
Yes.
standing in a corner, and then there was a bunch of calves. And
Calves.
as soon as she started playing the flute, all of them just got excited and started running around
Yes.
and crowding around her.
Yes. Actually, that is the reason why Krishna plays the flute, because cows are especially attracted to Krishna's playing the flute.
Yeah.
and the flute is a very sweet, producing sound,
Especially the bamboo fruit.
especially bamboo fruit.
My Guru Maharaj mentioned that from all the food, the bamboo fruit is more sweetest sound. Others are beautiful, nice, but they have some metallic sound effect. But the bamboo fruit is more sweet.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's why Prabhupada, when he introduced the samsara prayers, morning prayers, so there's a morning raga. There's a and we've not followed that actually. In most places we don't follow that. And for all of the Astakala Lila during the day, for each period there's a particular raga and whatnot.
I heard about Gorgomda Maharaj's life because very young age, he always was listening very professional Vaishnava group, his relatives. And often at 6-7 years old, he just went with them for 4 days for having different kirtans and ragas. And one day, one other group came and they challenged this group, who is the best. And they said, okay, just chant. And they chanted some very beautiful ragas. But then he told, no, we will chant this time raga. But they didn't know what is the raga of the 11 o'clock. And they started to chant them. And everyone was really understood, yeah, they are the best group. So some knows some ragas, but the expert knows this
Yeah,
specific time, specific season. That raga is the best.
correct.
So Gorgamna Maharaj was really expert. So
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I read it from his
Biography.
biography.
Yeah. Yes. So this verse giving us a little glimpse. Uh, I mean, it's a whole very deep science actually.
Yeah,
Very deep science.
we are missing so much this.
Yeah, Kali Yuga is like so part of what when we speak about Vedic culture being re-established, part of it is some of this. You know,
Yeah, very important.
just like we were discussing the other day, how this one young Gurukul boy learned by heart. You know, so the ability to memorize, and I've seen some young boys and some of our young matajis also, young girls, singing very, you know. So these are gradually part of the arts and sciences to introduce that will be attracting to people. Yeah. Whenever Prabhupada was in Los Angeles, he would love to hear the sound of the printing press.
That's always.
We also like to hear the sound of.
And he told that Vishnujan Maharaj is.
Yeah, yeah.
You heard
He,
him?
huh?
Did you hear him?
I never got. Actually, when Vishnujan Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj came to India in 1976 on a special airplane, actually, I was on that airplane with about 350 devotees. We flew from New York to Dum Dum Airport. Yeah. So he must have chanted at that time. But that was the only time I had some uh, physical kind of contact. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, he was so many devotees who had the good fortune to associate with him. He was, I mean, devotees described him as like a Gandharva, right? He, it was just totally natural for him, and his voice was just so attractive. Yeah. Jai Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.
So
This is